Are there any good stories that stand out to you when you think back of that time? Like specifically, your mind goes back to a night on tour with the Stone Temple Pilots, or a night where you got like three guys in the same bed.
We have so many stories. I think I don't know that I've ever told this story, but I feel comfortable with you, and maybe your audience I feel comfortable with. But
Yeah.
we were doing this festival in Delaware. I can't believe I'm telling the story. Um, we were doing this festival called Firefly in Delaware, and we were lucky enough. We got to play the main stage at like 3 o'clock, so it was bonkers set, like 60,000 people or something crazy.
Mm.
I announced from stage like, "Hey, we're going to play an acoustic set after this. Come and see us at whatever stage at 7 o'clock." So usually, like
Yeah.
those acoustic sets after bigger sets at festivals, like 500 people show up, maybe
Yeah.
if you're lucky. But since it was such a big show and whatever so well, like 10,000 people showed to the acoustic set.
Wow.
So we're like, we got to hype this thing up. So we kind of, when we were doing house shows early on, we would cover "Lose Yourself" by Eminem. And
Mm.
we'd have somebody come up from the crowd to freestyle against our mandolin player. So it was
Wow.
like full on like party mode. It's always like a fucking, you don't know what you're going to get when you call somebody out from the audience. Like
Mm.
we would get in trouble at schools, like when we would do it because some kid would just come up there and just curse.
Yeah. It's crapshoot.
Yeah, if someone's like super drugged out or whatever it may be, or drunk, or so I'm like, I got to make this choice right. I see this dude, he's got a beard, he just looks like he's full of life, whatever. Come up, obviously, terrible choice. He
Yeah.
like shmammered,
Yeah.
and but at that point, you just got to roll with it, right? So he
Yeah.
gets up. Long story short, the the dads in the audience are like start to cover their daughter's eyes up, and we're just like rocking. We're like rocking up, and
I was gonna say that's the wrong part of the body to cover up, cover their ears instead of their
it was
eyes.
just
Like,
like,
so,
there's
yeah.
like 15-year-old, I don't know how old, 15 to
Yeah.
19-year-old girls, and the dads are in the front row, like covering their eyes up. We had a security guy in the front row, and he comes around, and after the set, and his rap was terrible. It was just a total flop.
And he's just like visually shit faced, like slurring, stumbling. Yeah.
Yes, and So what happened is our security guy comes over and he goes, "Hey, did y'all see what happened with the guy?" It's like, "No," but like, why were they like? His friends were kind of like shouting, and I guess like when he said his like rapper name, he like
Mm.
pulled his shorts down to like sag,
Mm.
and his like thing came out flopping over his
Oh yeah.
over his
It flopped out.
and we all were like, "Dude."
There were two microphones on stage, is what you're saying.
And we were like, "Can we get in trouble for this? Like, it wasn't our fault." And we're just glad that no video surfaced or anything like that. But it was just like, that was a peak moment for us, in our
Yeah.
spirits. We were like, "Hey, we never thought that, someone would actually reveal themselves a little bit, too much to a crowd." And he definitely doesn't remember it, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No. It's hilarious to imagine this guy's piece flopping out, and he's so drunk he doesn't even realize it, and people start losing their minds, and he's like, "Oh, it must be my freestyling." Like that's why. And meanwhile, his piece is just flopping all over the place, and
all of his homies were like trying to get his attention, and I think he would thought that they were like encouraging it, and it's like, it was wild.
yeah, that is insane. That's yeah, that puts a new meaning on opening up on stage. So
Yeah, very vulnerable.
yeah.